Yeah, welcome, Joe, to the No Excuses, No Bullshit podcast. Glad to have you here. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks a lot. Already worked a little on my mobile app and did some exercise. So good Saturday. Yeah, I think it's a good start would be a little introduction from your side would be super awesome.
Yeah. My name's Joe. Mike and I met on Twitter. We just kind of came across. Started following some of I started following him, and obviously he followed me back, and we just kind of started messaging from there. I'm from the States, kind of Western PA, Sharpsville, PA. If anybody has any idea, just he kind of reached out with the idea, with his podcast, and we had a brief conversation before. And I think one thing that kind of intrigued him about me was that I'm kind of on a recovery journey. I'm at the end of May, it'll be a year, without alcohol. And I think that was one of the things that I guess he wanted to highlight in this conversation. Kind of a couple of the other things I'm doing, I guess, to kind of keep my mind off of or just kind of stay on the straight line. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Is there anything else I should go with or?
Yeah, you also talked about being a coach, so that would be also super
Oh
interesting.
yeah. I've been coaching baseball for close to 15 years. So I mean that was so obviously this will be the first season that I haven't been drinking. Not as weird as it sounds. Like obviously I'm not like drunk around the kids, but like
Yeah.
just being sober and clear
Mhm.
minded is kind of a different perspective kind of going in. Um, you know, I notice I'm picking up a lot more of the little things of like the day to day, and just picking up things about the kids and their personalities that I can draw on later. Whereas going in with a foggy mind, I might have a conversation with one of them,
Yeah.
and you know weeks down the road, I don't remember that particular conversation. Now I'm finding, and this is true with work, family, that I can recall those little details, and kind of people, and I find people like when you remember the small details, people kind of they're impressed. So that's just kind of another way I'm able to like relate with my players, people that I work with, that I have found. But yeah, it's been a good experience, and definitely some learning going on. But yeah, I'm excited for baseball season, obviously.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And as you said, like everything gets a lot clearer. You can remember
Yeah.
a lot of things, and but the thing that's most interesting for me, how did you do it? How did you replace this? We call it a habit, right? Drinking is also a habit, not a
Yeah.
good one, but how did you replace it? That's kind of interesting. Was it sports? Was it any other hobby, any other habits? How did it work?
Um. Well, I could say that like the the driving principle, let's say, was like I actually my son's now 2. So,
Mhm.
I didn't quit exactly when, he was born. Um, I drew it back a lot. But, I still found that I would, I would drink too much, and it kind of, yeah, whether it be, a Friday night into a Saturday,
Mm.
it would take too much time, whether, like the morning after, and I was a little off, or I had to, if I wanted to drink, I had to obviously find someone to watch my child. But I think just kind of slowly drawing back and wanting to be more present for my child was the reason to slow down. But there was just, I mean, it was March 23, like a year ago, I wanted to take a month break, like just 30 days. And, I did the 30 days and, I felt great. I lost some weight. And so afterwards, I didn't get back into it really, really super hard, but, I would still, have some drinks from time to time. And like just one of the last times, I went out and I probably had, a few too many. And then the next morning I was off and, I wasn't able to get, some of the things I wanted to get done. And so it was just, it kind of wasn't adding to my life at that point. And so then it was kind of an easy thing to subtract,
Yeah.
So that's kind of it just, and I mean, I'm 35. I've drank for a while and, for some reason I would, I felt that I don't want to say contributed, but, it didn't impact, my life. Obviously it did, but, it wasn't until that, like, you know, having the family in place that I wanted to make sure I was a good model or a good role model for them. And it's easier, like waking up every day is like, oh, I could either, hit the gym, get in my reading, meditate, work on myself, work, with my kids, or, go to the bar for however, 3-4 hours. It's an easy choice for me at this point. So I mean, I guess I definitely consider myself fortunate that, despite, having some, I don't want to say some, let's say bad habits, I was able to, to meet somebody and, she loves me and, we, obviously have a child together. And that was the,
The game
the
changer.
main reason to, yeah. I can say pretty confidently, if I didn't have, a kid, I'd probably, still be drinking. I don't, and, I don't think it's, and I don't think, and I should say like, and for me, it was never, I guess I didn't consider it a problem because, I wasn't like,
You had
I never
no,
hurt anybody else.
yeah, you
I
had no
never,
way.
physically,
Mm,
I never was in trouble with the law. I was able to, indulge in drinking and still maintain, a level of function. So
yeah.
for me, it was, oh, well, it's not that big of a problem. I can still, do this. I can, but, once I realized that, there was some things that required more of my time and energy, that's kind of when it was an easy thing to cut.
Yeah, so you also mentioned a few habits. So it was what I heard is it was more the why that was very strong. Well, right. So
Oh yeah.
it was your child and your wife and that kind of stuff. But you also started doing some other habits like meditation and stuff. I heard about that. Did this
Yeah, lifting.
did this
Yeah.
help you? And there's another question I have. Um, how did your friends react? And how did you handle those situations when you meet those friends you were drinking before? Like I know that too, it's kind of a struggle because they're not used to you not drinking, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's honestly, I still get it. The side eye and people like, what? Like, huh? Um,
Yeah.
like there was actually my wife and I went out a few weeks ago and I was drinking lemonade and the people, like, obviously we were out with some of our friends and the first glance, or I'd say the first, I guess, reaction was, oh, but honestly, I mean, after that initial, kind of observance, they're just like, oh, that's whatever. Like, so I think, and I think th- there's a lot of, I should say, my friends that, that I obviously that I consider my friends. It was a non-issue for it's a non-issue for them. They like my company, I like their company, whether, it's milk, beer, lemonade, whatever, we're just kind of happy to be in the presence of, another. But I guess there was another group of, friends, people that, I've met, while going out that, I find myself messaging them more, like not everybody, there's a few, guys that that I've met while, on the bar scene or the club scene that, I still, I like them enough and I respect them enough that, I'm still reaching out to them despite, not going out to, the bar. So I'm still trying to, meet up with them. I went out to lunch with the one guy. So I don't know. I guess the people that I've known for a while, like I said, it was a non-issue. And then kind of the new people that like I want to be around, I'm still kind of making, an effort to, to be around them, despite not drinking, and like the thing is like me not drinking was my decision, it wasn't
Yeah,
theirs, they're
definitely.
still, they can still, they're still grown-ups, they can choose to do that. So like, but I still like that, the people I maintained contact with are the people that, I liked, as people. So it's, I don't know. I've definitely gotten perspective on it. And, I've learned that a lot of times people use it as a crutch, you know?
Mhm.
And so like, if you're using alcohol as a crutch,
Yeah.
there's something else there, and, sometimes it's nice having a person there that, you don't necessarily have to have a drink with, but can kind of share, the kind of the position you're in. So
Yeah, and I think also a lot of times people drink because they are bored. They just don't know what to do with the time. And that's why I ask you about your habits, right? You mentioned some habits and meditation and gym, for example. This takes time. So if you want to have a gym routine, for example, you cannot drink the whole week. For example, if you're hungover, you probably not go to the gym the next day, right? So
right.
all those habits take up some time, as well as caring for your child and doing stuff with your wife and so on. So I think boredom is a big problem. So what would you recommend to someone that really wants to reduce alcohol consumption or quit it entirely? If they are today at day zero, what would you recommend to them?
So day zero, today's actually, Saturday, probably a big drinking day for
Mhm,
most. They don't have to work tomorrow. I what I did is I made myself really, really busy
mhm,
at the very, very beginning. Like I like cooking, so I found some new recipes that I don't know that, I'd have to, take time to write the list down, go to the grocery store, buy the things I need, come back to my house, kind of develop a plan, just, really stuff to keep me busy, like, I said between, walking and, lifting or two good things to do just to kind of free up or kind of fill up your time, I should say. But yeah, for me, it was like the Friday and Saturdays, I needed to find something to do because,
yeah.
like you said, if I was bored, a very, very easy answer would be, oh, let's stop by the bar for, one or two, or however it may be. But yeah, for me, like that's for me what I started. Like I did baking, and I did
That's nice.
cooking. And yeah, so it was definitely a change of pace for me. Staying in on a Friday night, baking brownies, doing different things like that. But yeah, I mean, find something that you could use to kind of fill up your time. Um, and you'll have a better, I don't want to say you'll have a better shot, like
Mhm.
most definitely find a new hobby,
Yeah.
and for me, it might be, a couple different things, like I said, like baking, cooking. I did, lifting, I helped coach, now, we're in coaching season, so that's going to fill up my time. But yeah, that's going to be one of the main things, is just kind of finding things to fill up your time, because, if you do kind of find yourself getting bored, it's just a really, really easy thing to kind of revert back to,
Yeah,
um,
that's awesome. Honestly, massive respect. I know how difficult it is to quit something like this, to quit alcohol or nicotine or stuff. Um, I'm at day 223, I think, without alcohol, but I have not I was not drinking a lot before, so I had some years to where I was drinking a lot with friends and going out and stuff. But the time before, though, the 365 days challenge I'm in at the moment, I was also just drinking like once a month. But still, it's hard because you have all those holidays, Christmas, you have now Easter, you have the birthdays, and it's all those parties and stuff. It really depends on your age, but especially my friends, they're still going out and stuff. And yeah, it's difficult sometimes to say
mm,
no, right? But all those hobbies I have, like you said, really help me. Like all those
mm.
projects and those things fill up your time. And one thing I'm also interested in is you mentioned lifting. Did you lift before, where you when you were still drinking, and how did it change, like your energy, your recovery without alcohol now? So do you have a comparison between those two?
So, I did lift. I lifted throughout high school and college.
Mhm.
Lifted a little bit afterwards, but I probably close to probably went like 7 or 8 years
Yeah,
without consistent, consistent gym routine. I would pick it up every couple months and maybe go a day or two. Um, but I was actually started the gym, while I was still while I was still drinking. Um, so even then it was, like I was when I was, slowing down, it was still Monday through Friday, not drinking, getting on a good routine. And then, even Friday, if I'd go out and have, a couple drinks, that Saturday is still, I didn't feel like waking up, still a little sluggish, it would definitely affect the recovery. But, definitely kind of lifting and not drinking is just it's
it's different. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's like nitrous fuel, for your body.
Yeah,
So it's yeah, definitely. And I could see the gains moving up quicker, literally like the plates, you go in and
yeah.
every week it's more weight, more weight. So it's always a nice little feedback system, the gym, going in and being able to do something you weren't able to do last week or a few weeks ago. Um, yeah, it was definitely a game changer when when I went complete, no alcohol.
Yeah,
So
I found the same. And I mean, even if you feel fit on Monday or Tuesday after having a party weekend, your body still hasn't the energy it should to push
mm,
100%. And also the recovery is blocked on the weekends. I think even if you don't drink that much but lose a lot of sleep on the weekend,
yeah,
that's also because sleep is the most important for recovery. And if you
yeah.
go out and don't drink a lot, but you're up until 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. and have 4 or 5 hours of sleep, sure, you will lose some of the recovery effect. So I think there's no doubt about that.
I've considered a lot to like the snowball effect, and I guess you hear the
Yeah,
snowball effect a
yeah,
lot when it comes to like to bad habits. Like, oh, you do this and then you do this, and next thing you know, it's completely out. It's
yeah.
complete chaos. But I don't think people talk about like the good snowballing effect. I
Yes.
mean, like once you get those good habits going, it's kind of easier to be like, oh, you know what, I want to stay away from, the bar tonight, or I want to stay away from the club tonight. Let me make sure I get my 8 hours. And those kind of snowball too when you kind of gain traction. So they might take a little longer, than, people would like, but, eventually you kind of get in that system, that rhythm that you're like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this. So like, I do want to mention that like the good snowballing happens. It just seems like it takes a little longer.
Yeah, definitely. And that's really like nicely said with the snow. I haven't heard it in that way, but yeah, you're right. You just keep adding good habits because it feels good. It simply feels good.
Mm.
And I think over time you just raise the bar, of what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Also with efficiency and stuff. And you keep stacking the habits together, and you have your routines. And as you mentioned, reading, meditation and stuff. It sounds so simple, but those little habits, also the meditation. I do yoga nidra in the evening, like 10 minutes, and I'm totally offset and ready for a good sleep. And I recommended this to one of my habit devs to have it as kind of an anchor before sleep. So the whole body, the whole system knows, okay, 10 minutes yoga nidra, and then we are ready to sleep. We are ready to rest. Recover. Sleep totally changed. Like REM sleep, everything, like deep sleep, everything improved, but with just 10 minutes. And if I tell people that, they don't even believe me, in the beginning. But I said, like, try it out and you will see, like, just that those little things can have massive effects. And I mean, quitting alcohol is a big change.
Yeah, right.
But I'm also the small habits can have a big impact, right?
No. Well, I mean, that was the thing too. I mean, it was quitting was the result of a lot of small habits. You know what I mean? I was doing the small things, and then I realized, if I want to take that next step, quitting alcohol is a very easy way to do so. I'm sure there's a lot of people that follow kind of, I don't know, like self-help, motivators. A lot of them say like just do like the little thing, start small, like start like with let's just say like 10 push-ups a day, and like write it on your calendar, and then the next day do 10 push-ups, and then the following day write it on your calendar, do 10 push-ups, and then move it to 20, and just and that was another thing. I kind of planned out my days now, like I just it's a piece of scrap paper. I have actually one sitting around. Literally, I just like, this is my one for next week. This is Monday. Like, I just write down like, hey, this is what I'm planning to do on Monday. And I write 10,000 steps. I have 100 push-ups, and then I have lift. Those are kind of like my 3 like non-negotiables. Like, I'm getting those done on Monday. And then I also have, some things just kind of like, I need to send out some mail. I want to follow up on one of my taxes that I need to send out, for example. I just have like a list of things like, hey, this is what I'm doing Monday. This is what I'm doing Tuesday. So it's all for me. The kind of like that next step was like getting it really scheduled out to where that way I can be the most efficient, kind of with my time. I guess I guess going back to like what you're saying, like with the small habits, it was like, that's what I started doing is like, hey, I put 10,000 steps on my calendar or on my schedule. And I saw that and I'm like, okay, what can I do to get there? So in the morning I'd wake up and get my steps. And then at lunchtime I'd go out and make sure I get some steps. So like for me, seeing that goal on the page is like, okay, what do I need to do to get to that goal? So
that's awesome. And I have a similar list, but I already in previous episodes, it's called Get Shit Done list. Like there are some non-negotiable things I have like daily and also weekly goals and stuff, but it's good to plan ahead a little. You just reduce the mental load. Like you just reduce the mental load, and also it gives you some kind of security, right?
Mhm.
If there's anything coming to your mind, write it down. Like write
Yeah, oh,
it
yeah.
down on that list, and so
Mhm.
you won't forget it. Because
Right.
keeping all those things in your head, right? In your memory, so to say,
Mhm.
it makes you anxious, right? Because you're getting more and more and more. And so you write it down and just keep doing what you're doing at the moment. And I think that was also a big game changer for me to not keep all those things in my head the whole time and to plan ahead a little.
Right.
So in a previous episode, I was talking to Chris, and he said like there is a planner mode and a maker mode. You know, like you plan the stuff, but the next day you should be able to just start. You know, just
Yeah.
start ticking off those things and start stacking wins. You know, as you
Yeah.
said, 10K steps in the morning or any other habit, like that's a big win. You know,
Mhm.
people probably still sleeping while you already hit those habits. You know, and that's
Mhm.
nice.
No, yeah, most definitely. And then one more thing, I guess, kind of having that schedule for me, and it's easy to kind of think of all the things you have to do,
Yeah.
but if I have like, okay, today's Saturday, these are the things I want to get done Saturday. It's easy for me to be, I guess, more present and be like, okay, let's get these things done. Whereas if I have something on the list for tomorrow,
Mhm.
I can be like, hey, let's get today done. Let's finish today.
Yeah.
We can worry about tomorrow. And so it's another way for me to be like, okay, let's focus on what we want to today. And then that way you can give full focus to what you had planned for Sunday on Sunday. So it's definitely, there's definitely a couple benefits, I should say, to, I guess, scheduling, and kind of,
Yeah.
like you said, it kind of puts your mind at ease.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. It was really a nice talk, and I think there were a few things that will definitely help some people to improve along the journey. And also, maybe we have some people quitting with alcohol today. That would be super awesome. And
Yeah, yeah.
it would also be great to have you in another call in a few months or weeks and to just update each other a little how it went, and maybe after finishing the full year, and then we can exchange again about the experience. Would be
No,
awesome.
yeah, absolutely. It'll end up being the end of May.
Yeah,
So
perfect for me. uh I think it's August, so
okay,
but maybe after that we exchange and then we celebrate together. Would be
that
awesome.
works. That works.
Have an awesome rest of the weekend, and yeah, see you soon.
Hey, see you soon. Have a good one.
Bye.